Good evening, folks. Joe Baker with Trade Pilot Pro, going over the recap of today's markets as well as tomorrow's support and resistance areas on the S&P futures. What took place today was this head and shoulder pattern is playing itself out, as I noted in last night's video, as well as the comment from one of the viewers on the spiders. Both patterns was actually very neat looking at it, because actually they were on two different time frames. One was on an hour chart on the spiders, and one was what this is here. It's a half-day chart on the S&P futures. Same pattern, setting up and set up actually beautifully. On the S&P futures, for those of you that have been continuing to watch these day in and day out, I do appreciate all the views and any comments. I had mentioned the 75 area being a big area, and I talked about that last week, and I gave you all the big areas that this market would trade to. And underneath 75 was 67, and underneath the 67 we have a small pivot at 62.50. So that really played out well today. It really did. Market opened up down, rallied up to 74.50, which is actually last week's low, and then just about faced and just dropped right down to the 67, ultimately working its way down to 63 and then rallying back up to I think like 68, 69 on the close. So, what do we do tomorrow? 69.70 is a minor area, so this is how we're going to play it. We can see on the triple moving average that it is starting to get kind of buried down here in the dirt. So let's see if we can't get a little bit of a recovery. Albeit, let's find out what it does on the open. Just watch that open real carefully. What it does on the open is the market tries to find where the weak hands are, and if the weak hands are to the low point, they'll push it down or they'll push it up. Either way, you just have to watch that open. Again, we always have those time frames. I did a video a while back, and I told you all that you have to watch the 936 area. That's usually where they pivot from, and today they did pivot from 936 up to the 74.50 area, only to roll right back down. But there's 3 or 4 key levels on the open range that you have to watch. Those of you that did come in the room, you know all those time frames. We talk about them continually. So at any rate, the 69.70 area is a minor area of resistance. Above that area, yes, you can go up and you can tap 75. Now a solid close, and what I mean by a solid close, I'm talking like a 5-minute bar, solid close over the 75. We could start heading back up to 78s and so forth and so on, in 80 levels. So just watch those areas, and then 83s are our next big area of resistance to the upside. A break below the 62.50. And 50 is hanging out, 50, 51 area. So I just want you to be, just be cautious of this market. I've mentioned this before, but the market is very efficient at doing just one thing, and that's taking the most amount of money out of the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time. It's very good at that. So anyway, folks, let's get over to the intraday pivots. And any questions or comments, anything you want me to look at, just go ahead and drop me a line, and I'll be more than happy to mention it, or I can private message you back. Hold on one second while I change screens here. Okay, line in the sand, 69.50, looking for higher levels to 73.75, and that nasty little bugger 75 obviously falls in this breakout area, which obviously makes that a little scary. Above that we have 80, which is a strong area. I'm going to mention 78. I can only put so many lines before I confuse everyone. But I'm going to mention in the video here that 78 is an area of resistance as well. It's not that strong. It's just an area that you just would be cautious at. 80 comes in a little stronger, and then we have a target of 84.75. If we decide to push this market upwards, we're looking at 88.25, and then 92.50. These are all the same numbers. This gets a little easier when we get into these trading ranges, because all these areas of support and resistance just keep revisiting. kind of like Groundhog Day or being on a bus route, just stopping at the same stops over and over again. Now, down below the 69.50, we have 66.5, and then we have 62.50. Now, as you know, that is a key level. That 63 area, of course, this breakout comes in at 62.50 just to annoy me that much more. I don't like to have breakout levels literally at support or resistance. I don't like to have breakdown levels at support or resistance. It just makes it that much tougher to trade, because as you're looking for the breakdown, it's actually an area where should hold and you could get a bounce. So it just makes it that much more annoying and frustrating. And we had that today when we broke down at the level today, but we seem to have slide right through that 75 no problem. So we'll see on the downside tomorrow if we get continued downside movement. 62.50 will break, and if it does break, then again you'll see pretty much an easy movement down through the 58, 54.75, and then ultimate target 51.25. If tomorrow is going to be an inside day, which would be a range day to absorb this recent breakdown, then the market will trade in between the 62.50 and the 73.75, maybe get up to the 75, maybe get down to the 61 area, and kind of trade in between there. That would be considered, an inside day or a consolidated range day, and that can happen. I'm just mentioning it, and we never know what the market's going to play out, how it's going to take the news, and so forth and so on. So, that being said, just be careful. You know what my lines in the sand are. You have these. Again, please get over to the blog. What I am doing is I'm setting up emails that are grouped together so that I don't get thrown into spam boxes. What's happening now is I'm sending them out individually. I am putting this into a service where that won't happen. So bear with me. I know many of you are mentioning you're not getting these, but I am trying to get them out and get them to you so that this is in a printable form so you can put them by your computer if you do watch these or you do swing trade the market or stocks. I am working on it, and I should have everything ironed out most likely by this weekend with a new service, and they're guaranteed not to go into any spam boxes. So I appreciate your patience with that. All right, folks, we will see what tomorrow brings, and I will be back with you tomorrow night. Thank you so much.